from a tactical point of view, it's fascinating. This is an environment, I think, an M&A environment, in which you're seeing a number of extraordinarily complicated transactions. Sometimes they're complicated for reasons of regulatory approval. Sometimes they're complicated because of competitive bids. I mean, one of the most complicated ever was Broadcom, Qualcomm, NXP, which I worked on myself a few months ago. And there's just a lot of complexity now in the M&A environment, and a lot of a premium on tactical superiority.
Yeah, and as you point out, especially in this, some would call it endgame consolidation in certain industries, antitrust plays such an important role. And frankly, I think that there are so many people, Roger, who have a hard time figuring out exactly where we are in antitrust, given what has been to a certain extent. Yeah, go ahead.
One of the things that people miss, and it's being missed a lot in the press right now, is the role that China, and in particular MOFCOM in China, is playing. That is caught up in the U.S.-China trade tension. And if you look at situations like NXP, which has waited 18 months for Chinese approval and doesn't have it yet, I'm hopeful they'll get it, but they don't have it, or others, and this could play out also in the media wars, the role of China and the requirement for Chinese approval is a big element here, because right now it is harder to get approval in China than it is in Europe or it is in the U.S.
Yeah, no, and we have followed NXP very closely, and it does seem to be perhaps to a certain extent a victim of the increased tensions. Do you have any expectations there? You said you hope it gets approved. Do you have any sense? I mean, I've reported the remedies are already in place. It's just a matter of getting the actual approval.
Yes.
Any update for us from what you're hearing in terms of Qualcomm NXP?
I wish I had one, David, but I don't. But if you think about, as I say, the media wars that you referred to at the beginning, you know, China's going to end up being active in approving or not approving those also, because the Chinese market, for example, for theatrical films has become so large. So, to the best of my knowledge, Chinese approval is required in some of these big potential transactions. And you don't hear much talk about that when you're reading about speculation that one of these things could close in a few weeks, things like that. So keep an eye on the China side of the equation, because it's very complicated right now, and China has not been approving, at least in recent months, certain high-profile situations. They've just been sitting on them. They haven't rejected them.
Yeah.
They just haven't approved them.
No, well, they did approve the Toshiba deal, which many thought would mean that NXP.
Yes, but that was a Japan-China situation. You know,
right.
the bilateral relationship there was Japan and China. When it comes to the U.S. or U.S.-centric situations, they've been sitting on them.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.